So yeah, another YouTuber is going to talk about Ssniperwolf, but this time I'm going to also share my own personal doxing story as well. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. Welcome to my channel, and I'm going to talk about something that I have not talked about in a long time. I'm going to talk about the beef that occurred between me and a YouTuber several years ago, and I'm going to share a story that I have not shared until now. And the reason I'm sharing it is because of this very, very ugly situation with Ssniperwolf and Jack Films. Now I'm going to do the teal deer version, which is too long, didn't read, and give the very, very basics, because this is an evolving story and it's getting uglier. So, but it starts with a YouTuber React channel called Ssniperwolf, basically annoying the YouTube community because she reacts to videos, steals creators' content, doesn't give credit, and makes a lot of money from them. Another YouTuber took such offense to it, he started responding to these videos. His name was Jack Films, and he responded to those videos, usually humorously, and that's what he did. Now, from experience, I know that people have made videos responding to mine. Some of them are nice, some of them are not very nice, but it's kind of part of the course when you come on YouTube. It's just part of the game, but there is a level to where it can just go a little too far. Well, in the case of Ssniperwolf, she decided to live stream going in front of Jack Films' house to her over 5 million Instagram followers. And basically she said, hey, you want to talk, Jack Films? And she was taunting him. There is no question about it. She was taunting him by doing that live stream. It was doxing. And then when people pointed out that she was doxing, not only did she claim ignorance, but she's like, well, it's not like I'm not sharing the address. People can find that themselves on Google, which of course altered the Google search results so that if you type in Jack's Films, guess what? The automated fill-in says Jack's Films address, and you just don't know what kind of people are going to show up for that. And we'll talk about my experience in a minute. Now, since this went down, apparently YouTube has temporarily demonetized Ssniperwolf because I guess they make exceptions to some of their biggest YouTube creators that, you don't get permabanned for putting someone's life in danger. And they also kind of hinted that they were embarrassed by the behavior on both sides, as if Jack Films himself actually did something truly horrifically wrong here, which he didn't. Of course, it's not the first time that YouTube has sided with a very popular YouTube commentator when standing up against a commentator. I remember when they basically would not ban Suzy Liu for copyright infringement and even warned Tipster basically about not putting that content on the internet. Like, yeah, don't talk about Suzy Liu. We like Suzy Liu, and this is something that YouTube does. If they're your bread and butter, they're going to protect you. I mean, in some ways, YouTube is very much like Hollywood in that regard. Your transitions don't matter. It's if you make money, you can get away with it. If Ssniperwolf was a smaller YouTuber that they were getting pennies from, absolutely they would have, demonetized her, banned her, whatever. And I can tell from experience that if you are small enough, YouTube might not, because they don't care. Case in point, I'm going to talk about some old beef I had with a YouTuber. I hope this is the last time I have to talk about it. And I don't think anyone's going to care really at this point in time, so I'm going to not name names. I'm going to try to keep it as vague as possible. Longtime subscribers will know who I'm talking about. And I want to stress, I have not talked to this person in a long time, and the last time we interacted, it was on good terms, and I still wish him the best with whatever he's doing in life. That being said, he caused me a lot of stress, and I don't think even he appreciated just how much he did, because if he was the great guy that he claimed he was, and he knew exactly the problems he was causing, I would hope he would have the courtesy and the compassion to have stopped what he was doing, but either he didn't know or he didn't care. I'm not here to make that judgment. But there was a YouTuber that had a problem with me because years ago when there was a video and a topic that came about Uber, I made a comment on something that the driver did, and I suggested that, yeah, I would do the same thing, and, you know, if you're in that situation, you should be allowed to do the same thing. This person called for me to be kicked off the Uber platform because it was dangerous advice, that Uber will suspend you for doing this. Now, I made a response video, which ironically, this was like the one video he never responded to, but I made a response video where I pointed out in the terms of service where it could be interpreted that yes, as an independent contractor, you have the right to end the ride whenever you want, kick them out for whatever reason, that basically you did not have to finish rides that you did not want to. It was in the terms of service. But I never heard a response about that one, but since that day, he basically went on an anti-Apptrepreneur spree. He would give me dumb little nicknames. He would call me a pig. One of the things that I made a mistake on was I made this whole video where it's like, you know, this is why I'm not following this person anymore. I don't want to talk to him. I don't believe that he is a good person. And I made that video, and he made a response video. And in that video, I will say this. He said not to bother me, like, you know, leave him alone, respect his wishes. He's like, but do me a favor. Go to his comments and write Team Alpha, because apparently he was the alpha and I was the beta, you know, in terms of being like an animal or something like that. Even though I do want to point out, he never had more subscribers than me, and he never had more views than me. I don't know about comments. He might have had more comments. I don't know about that. But like in terms of sheer numbers, I was bigger than him. I think I'm still bigger than him, even though this channel has not been as active as it used to be. So it was very interesting, the whole alpha beta thing. And, you know, it started out kind of dumb. Like, I'd get like a bunch of team beta comments. And at first I was kind of confused, like what those were about. And then someone pointed out, oh yeah, because he made this video and, you know, he called himself Team Alpha and Team Beta. And it was like, it's like, oh. And so I just started, you know, okay, we'll delete them. Delete them. I mean, I don't have an issue with people monitoring comments. I have an issue with people who only let the good comments through. I think that is a morally questionable thing. But when it comes to negative comments, if they're being aggressive or bullying, or they're there just to harass you, they're not there to actually debate in a fair and ethical manner, I don't think YouTube should be the wild, wild west. So yeah, I delete them. And I was deleting them. And I try to ignore this person as much as possible. Now, when I say the next part, I should make very clear, despite this individual always talking about how he could beat me in a fight, that he's stronger than me, that he's better than me, and he was smarter than me, I do not believe he ever instructed people to attack me or to hunt me down or to get me. When people would comment that they would do that for him, he would laugh. He wouldn't tell them, no, you shouldn't do that. But strictly speaking, he himself never directed anyone to do the following. Well, one day, and this was shortly after the Team Alpha video, like some stranger came up to me at the house I was living in at the time, asked if I was the Apptrepreneur. I said, yeah, who are you? You. And he pulled a water balloon out and he threw it in my face. And after he threw it in my face, he said, Team Alpha, bitch. And that was when I started getting a little scared. Now, no one else ever came to the house. And this person may have been an especially unhinged person. Heck, for all I know, he didn't even find my name and an address. Maybe he saw me driving the car one day, followed me home, and decided to come back or wait when I came out of the house. I don't know what he was doing, but it was scary. And so when people asked, like, why don't you respond to this person who's making these videos? Why don't you do this? Why don't you say his name? Why don't you do this? And this is because, well, because some stranger who I didn't know came to my house. Thank God I wasn't married at the time, so this was a while ago. And threw a water balloon in my face, shouted Team Alpha, and that could have easily been a knife. That could have easily been a gun. That could have been a fist. That could have been anything. And after that, it was like, not that I wanted to get into this in the first place, but after that, I really wanted to be as little involved in this as possible. Now, emails were another thing. Oh, the emails I got from this person's followers. And I always knew when he was talking about me, because I'd all of a sudden get like a flood of negative comments, a flood of negative emails, and a flood of threats. And then my soon-to-be wife even got a few of these emails herself. They found her email address somehow, and they would email her. And I'd have to calm her down and say, it's going to be fine. They're just trolls. This makes them feel good for whatever reason. And ultimately, no one attacked aside from that water balloon. But here's the thing. This is why this situation with Ssniperwolf and Jack Films is kind of terrifying. Because here's some context. My YouTube channel at the time had about 9,000 subscribers. This individual's YouTube page, if I remember correctly, I might not be, so forgive me if this little detail is getting wrong, but it was 2,000 to 3,000, somewhere between there. Like, look, without sounding boastful, because I didn't care about the numbers. There were other Uber-tubers, as we were called, who had way more subscribers than me, still do, in fact. This person had a quarter of my subscribers, but his viewers were dedicated to him. They loved him, and they had a fighting mentality. So this guy with 2,000 to 3,000 subscribers, at least one of them was committed enough to the cause to find my house, throw a water balloon in my face. And it could have been anything. Thank God it was just a water balloon. Now then, let's take a look at the Ssniperwolf situation with Jack Films. She live streamed that house to 5.4 million subscribers. On YouTube, she had over 30 million subscribers, I think, or it's some obscene amount, way more than what he has. And she felt emboldened to go to his house. And here's the thing, if someone came up to me from a channel that had 2,000 to 3,000 viewers, imagine how many potential crazy people you have that will do something especially wrong to you when you have 5.4 million followers. It's scary to think about. And the situation is worse in this case for a few reasons. First of all, YouTube basically tried to ignore this as long as they could. They absolutely tried to put this off, even though they are quick to block other channels that do similar offenses, although they also didn't. It took them like a year to demonetize Daddy of 5. So yeah, again, if the channel's making money, they're willing to let a lot of serious things slide, even though they may be dangerous. But now that they finally responded, it's like it's a temporary demonetization, and then they did a little bit of victim blaming. They basically suggested that Jack Films, maybe he kind of deserved for this to happen. Maybe if he hadn't been making the videos he was making, this wouldn't have happened. Like, don't blame the victim. You should never. I'm sorry I'm itching. I itch when I get nervous, and I don't want to edit this. And look, here's the thing. Again, my experience was minor in the grand scheme of things. I have not really thought about it for a long time. And again, this individual who made these videos, I do not believe, I have no evidence anyway, that he directly encouraged people to come to my house or anything. And I would hope that he would disavow such behavior. And we did end on good terms last time we spoke. And I never discussed this on my channel before because, like, it's very scary when someone comes to your house, and even though it's just a water balloon, it was an assault. You know, I was assaulted at my own house. And you get really scared, like, if you talk about it on YouTube, is that going to encourage more people to come? What if I made a video and this individual hated me so much, he found it funny? And it's like, yeah, that's great to hear. And it encouraged more lunatics to come to the house. There is a loss of innocence, dare I say it, when someone comes to your house and they assault you, or they threaten you, or they make it feel like you are not safe anymore. So that's why this Ssniperwolf situation I am especially appalled by, because someone could have gotten seriously hurt. Someone may still get seriously hurt, and the fact that YouTube still wants to protect their money goes to show that they do not grasp the seriousness of what has happened. And it's like, look, there are already laws that say you can't be doing things like this. Do we need to make laws that if companies discover and it's made known to them that people have been doxxed or threatened online, that they have to do something? Does there need to be a Google law that says, hey, YouTube, it doesn't matter if your number one YouTuber makes you a lot of money. If they go to someone's house and they make a veiled threat, there's no temporary demonetization. There is an outright suspension. And you delete that channel. And you do not let them on unless they show that they have gone to therapy, that they have gone to anger management, that they have gone to classes to understand that you do not do this. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. I mean, I am a small voice in a growing chorus of voices who are angry at YouTube. Not only for Jack Films, but because of ourselves. Some of us have dealt with things like this. Yes, my situation's a little different. I really wish YouTube had, taken down this guy's channel to stop the abuse. But while that whole thing was going on, there was always a sense of fear. Will one of that guy's followers come to my house again? And will they bring something other than a water balloon? And when they started emailing my wife, will they involve her in it? It was a very, very scary time. Somehow I got through it though. And it's actually one of the reasons why I'm kind of glad that YouTube is just a hobby again, to be honest, because yeah, you can make money, but do you want to deal with things like this? So for those of you who want to be even minorly successful on YouTube, remember videos like this. It's not all fun and games. So anyway, that's where we're going to end this story. So I'm not going to do a spiel. This was not fun as it was to make. Very little editing this time around. But everyone, I'm going to end and stay safe out there and look out for one another. If you know someone who's being bullied or harassed on YouTube and they're giving off threatening vibes, report them. Just report them. Try to look out for your fellow YouTube creators. No one deserves to feel unsafe just because of this hobby. Take care.